Hey everybody, welcome back. One of the weakest parts of my roster is the PG era. Up until maybe a couple hours ago, I would have told you that the best PG era card I had on my roster was the Great Khali. And that was before I kind of realized that the original John Cena, the John Cena you get for downloading the game, also loyalty, respect, got kind of a shadow buff that Scopely just kind of dropped into the game. And it doesn't take a lot to actually make him pretty decent. And I'm going to say decent because he's not a feud monster. He's not a showdown monster. He's not going to carry you in boss battle. But when you need a PG era, which is usually tours, he's going to do work. At least enough to get you through what you need to get through. And he is kind of sort of usable in feud if you absolutely have to use PG era in feud. And I will show off both ways to run those things. Um, all right. So the move set it all kind of runs from the set out power bomb, deal 86,329 damage and choose 9 gems to make and reinforce, and then the standing drop kick. At the level I've got it, it's deals 744,444 bonus damage for every reinforce. If you have this maxed out, it does 833,333 damage. That's a lot of damage for bonus unblockable damage, right? I don't have this one maxed out. The only reason I have him 6-star gold is because of the fuse during the Cena month, where the Cena moment came out and the shiny Cenas came out and the DK Cena came out. All right. But I have worked him up to this level. And then the sit out hip toss is 42,000 damage. Choose 6 gems to make into red gems. This is a recycle move for the original John Cena to make everything kind of work. All right. He's got gear. He's got 3 gears. All of them are crap. They do like triple digit flat damage. It doesn't matter. You can run this without these gears. It's fine. And then the only thing in the moment that really helps, there is some gems do damage and color moves do damage, but it really is reinforced gems do 100% more damage. And this directly affects the bonus damage, the 2x damage per reinforced gem move that he has. It essentially doubles it. So it takes it from that 744 to, 1.48 million. And now you're hopefully starting to see kind of what I'm putting down. Strap is just Fury 2s, and I do have the Santa's muscles on here. Whenever you break 3 or more red gems, get 3 green move points at the end of your turn. Depending on what game mode you're using, you might not even need this. All right. I'm going to show you the idea of using him in 2 different game modes. Again, Showdown and Boss, he's probably not going to be the best unless Showdown gives you some MP buffs, or Boss specifically needs a PG, which is not anything that's really ever happened. Entourage, you need Roxy. This is where things get a little weird. You have to have Roxy to make it work. All right. 4 green, 4 red. We know this is 7, this is 8, and this is 10. All right. You can manipulate the reinforced gems a little bit to reload this stuff, but this is a 7 green MP move. The other most important trainer is Showboat Andre, and he's the one who creates 5 more reinforced gems. So instead of creating 9, you create 14. This is a massive damage buff. Massive damage buff. Because you're getting bonus damage per. And he adds to reinforced damage. And if you have it at 26k, this 30% turns to 50%. Again, this is not an optimized build for this Cena. But you have to have Andre, which means you have to run Roxy, you have to run Santa, and then to be ready in feud, you have to have a middle line bonus to have this started, and you're going to be shy 1 MP for this move. And then a Hall of Fame Yoko, which just adds to this damage right here. Okay. Going back to the strap, It's just Fury 2s. You can put Fury 3s, you can put armors, you can put whatever you want to here. The strap can be HP, it can be move damage, it doesn't matter. The thing that drives this entire build is the unblockable damage. All right. I'm also missing 80 full levels for this card, so it will change gem damage amounts if you wanted to do so, but again, it doesn't change this move right here, which is the finisher plus damage per unblockable. This is where the majority of your damage comes from. So let's take a look. The first time I'm going to run this is going to be pure tours. In case you need to run a PG in tours, this is the way to do it. It gets kind of ridiculous very, very quick. This is a very clicky. This is very clicky. So I'm starting out with 6 MP for everything. Tour perks give me 3, so it's a 9 for everything. And I'm just going to make 14 reinforced gems. Now, in order to do maximum damage, I take this and I take a 5 match on the reinforced gems. That's going to give me 10 red MP, and it's pretty safe. And then I throw out more reinforced gems. And this should do somewhere to the tune of about 60 million unblockable. All right, we've got 21 of reinforced gems on the board. So 21 times 2.45 million. It's a lot. And you can see up here what happens. It instantly disappears. And then you just put green on reinforces to do extra damage. It's 56 million. It's not terrible. It's not terrible at all. And really, if you're looking at a pure tour build, you can do this too. And use reinforces to your benefit. You can actually put Hollywood Hogan on, and you only need me to make a 3 match. Again, this is with tour builds or tour perks. This is a tour build. And then you choose the red, and you only need to break 3 red reinforces. So this is 3 with Hollywood Hogan. That's 5. And you're doing it again. It'll be a total of 10. It'll reload the reinforce move here. And this should be somewhere in the realm of like 60 million damage. It should completely wipe the health bar. Yeah. There you go. So anytime you need a PG era tour and you have full tour perks, the original Cena, HLR Cena, will do it. And it'll do it just fine. Clicky, yes, but it's a tour, so who cares? So, what about feuds? Well, we can simulate that too. You do still need Santa Hogan. It gets a little bit dicier, and you need a middle line bonus. But it's a 5 and 3 setup. All right, so With a middle line bonus, you need 1 here. You'd have 7 of 8 because of Roxy. And this doesn't matter. You'll fill this anyway. So what you would do is something along these lines. You'd make a 3 and then a 5 swipe. Ooh, and you want that to be safe. So you take this one and bring it in. Because that would turn that into the wild card there. Yeah. So you take your reinforces. In order to reload and max damage, you put the reinforces on this 5 right here. And then just, wherever else. Doesn't matter. You grab this one because you want to keep it, which will turn this into the wild card. So you just go whoop. And it pinned anyway. That's cool. That's why we go against Zombie Sammy. In case you're ever wondering why everybody always runs against Zombie Sammy, it's because he's not ready turn 1. You can screw up and then, not get hit by a million moves and try it again, which is what we'll do. I do want to show it off. But this shows off, if your feud opponent isn't ready turn 1. Your damage does go down a little bit in this setup because you're breaking more reinforced gems, trying to get reloaded because you don't have the Tor perks. But it's still really close to 60, and this isn't maxed out. If it was maxed out, it'd be over 60. Again, does that mean he's going to be a go-to Cena for feuds? No, not at all. Should he maybe be thought about as a go-to Cena for feuds for PG era? Maybe. Again, do you have any of the good PG era cards? I don't. There are plenty, well, not plenty, there's a handful of good PG era cards. And then there is a rack of trash. This should actually be pretty safe. Yep, there we go. This is 21, 22, 23 reinforces at 2.45 million. I mean, it's pretty good. That's pretty good for what it is, right? Again, this is the original Cena. I'm also using Fury 2 medals if you use Fury 3s or armors or any tier 6, really. This gets a little bit more interesting. Maybe a little bit more damage, maybe a little bit less kick out from the opponent. Who knows? But it's an option, all right? And that's really all I was interested in is now I have in tours an extremely safe option that will do 60 million, needing 80 levels and a whole bunch of moves to actually get up to max. Because I have a moment and I have Roxy. I'm sure a lot of you guys do too. So maybe don't sleep on the original Cena. He is the original Cena. He ain't the best Cena, but good grief, he ain't the worst. If you've learned anything today, if you've been entertained by anything today, or if you just happen to like the sound of my voice, do me a favor, click like, click subscribe, share to your faction mates. Shoot, maybe even ask your Discord admin to add me to the bot list so I get posted in your faction's Discord. Follow me on twitch.tv/slimnumbers. Find me on Discord. I am slim #S. I'll talk to you next time.